Hey, Shalom Israel. This is the Isupk, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are under Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth out since 1969, that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the true Jews of the Bible, the true children of Israel, and we are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite groups. We're not affiliated with no other Christian organization, with no Christian organizations. We're not affiliated with Muslims. We stand alone in doing this work of the Most High. You understand? So that means if you see other Israelite groups on the street, you see other Israelite groups, period. If it's not ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana, it is not the truth, you feel me? We stand alone, and we've been bringing this out since 1969, you understand? Tonight is the biblical law class. This is a very important class, once again, because in order for us to change the dynamics of the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, we actually got to follow rules. We actually got to follow laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has set forth for us, you understand? But unfortunately, we haven't been taught these things by our leadership, by our elders, you understand? We haven't been taught these things in the Christian church. So that's why this class is so pivotal, because it actually teaches us what we need to do to turn the tide in our favor, you understand? For too long, we've been on the wrong end of the whipping stick with the Most High. We've been getting punished, so it's so normal to us. But the Most High requires that we do our part. And when we do our part, the Most High will come back to pretty much defending us, you understand? Because we turned our backs on the Most High and we started doing what we wanted to do. So if we doing that, how can the Most High actually defend us? You understand? That hedge of protection that's spoken of in the Bible, as a nation, we haven't had it because we've been sinning against the Most High. And not only that, our leaders have been teaching us that we don't have to keep laws, we don't have to keep statutes, we don't have to keep commandments, you understand? So it's important that we understand that we got to do something in order to fix that relationship with the Most High. And that's what these scriptures are for. These scriptures give us the rules, the regulations, the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You know what I mean? And what it do is it warns us. It teaches us, you understand? Like, it tells us, it actually gets down to the simple things of life that turn into major flaws that we have. As far as who should we be friends with? Who should we marry? You understand? How should we treat each other? What should we eat? This is what the Bible breaks down for us. But yet, our pastors, our preachers, and these so-called politicians that's supposed to be for Black people, they teach us that we ain't got to follow that no more. That was done away with. That's Old Testament, you understand? They teach that pretty much we got to just believe, and as long as we have it in our heart, we can do anything we want to do under the sun, and it's going to be all right with the Most High. That is false, and that's why we're in the conditions we're in. Hey, Shalom, man. Hey, sure. Tonight we're going to get in. We're going to show. We're going to see that friendship with this world makes us an enemy towards the Most High. You understand? Now, though that seems like that sounds so simple, that's something that we've never been able to do. We've always envied other nations. We've always envied other heathen nation, heathen culture, you understand? It's like we big them up and we give them so much precedence amongst us, you feel me? But the very heritage and the very culture that we supposed to have for ourselves, we shun it. We want no parts of it, you feel me? And that's a symptom. That's a symptom of slavery. Not only that, but it's a symptom of what they call it Stockholm syndrome. You understand? Because we have an affinity and we fall in love with our oppressor. in his ways, you understand? That we actually shun the absolute power that can save us and put us back in our rightful position, you understand? We shun our power, but we'll do anything this oppressor wants us to do, you understand? We're gonna get it in the scriptures though. If I could, let me get James chapter 4, verse 4. We're gonna start here. We're gonna see, you know, how friendship with this world makes us an enemy towards God. You know what I'm saying? We gotta see what we gotta do to stop being an enemy to God and actually be a child of God. You understand? Come back to our culture, come back to our heritage, come back to our rightful place in this earth. You feel me? As the top nation, not the bottom. You know what I'm saying? You got that?
Concept.
Go ahead, read.
James 4 and 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses.
Ye adulterers and adulteresses. We're gonna break this down. When you hear adulterer and adulteresses, that's a man and a woman who's committing adultery, of course, right? However, contrary to what the Christian church teaches, like the Christian church would teach that a man who sleeps with another woman outside of his wife is committing adultery. That is absolutely false. When a man sleeps with a woman that's married to another man, that's when he commits adultery. When a woman sleeps with someone outside of her husband, she commits adultery. But this is not even talking about the physical act. This is spiritual adultery, you feel me? This is spiritual adultery because we committed adultery against the Most High, you feel me? Because the Most High was our power. The Most High was our God, you understand? But we shunned the Most High and we went and got in bed with other religions. We started becoming Christians. We started becoming Muslims, you understand? We started becoming 5%ers and, Egyptologists and all this nonsense, you understand? We committed adultery, both man and woman, by serving these other gods. Keep going.
Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God?
Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Now, this presents, like, to a Christian who've been taught by a false prophet. This presents a conundrum right here, because in one breath it says, "Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity." Enmity is opposition. It means opposition towards God. But in John 3:16, which is the Christian's favorite scripture, it said, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." So now you present it: should I love the world, or should I be a friend with the world, or should I not? You understand? We're going to break this down because we got to understand the Bible itself. You understand? If I could hold that and let's go over to John 3:16. We're going to find out, this is why it's so important to study. We say study yourself approved. You understand? Because a lot of these words, you actually have to look these words up and get the actual definition of these words before you comprehend it. And a lot of times, because we've been taught a certain way, we don't see the need in actually pulling out a dictionary, a biblical dictionary, and finding out what some of these words mean. The scriptures say line upon line, precept upon precept. You understand? Which means that we got to break this thing down. You can't read the Bible like a book, like a novel. It's not sequential. You understand? You got to take a line from here and a line from there, and you got to bring these things together. You understand? You got that?
Concept.
Go ahead and read.
John 3:16. For God so loved the world.
For God so loved the world, you feel me? In this scripture, the term world, what does world mean? You understand? This is what we have to understand. For God so loved the world. Is the world and the earth the same thing? Just for time's sake, it is not. You understand? World means age or society. You understand? For God so loved this world, meaning like God loved this nation of Israel, the society of Israel. And we're going to prove that as well. Go over to Psalms 90 and 2. And all I'm doing is I'm giving precepts to understand the term world. When we get into the term world, we're going to understand the world does not mean this entire globe that we're in, this planet. You understand? Like the term world is just the age of society. You have many different worlds out here. The oppressor lives in a different world than the oppressed. You understand? You have Disney World. You have Wild World. You have Animal World. You have whatever kind of world.
Wild World Sports.
Wide world of sports. You understand? Like a basketball and a football player lives in two different worlds. You understand? The poor man and the rich man live in two different worlds. Here in Baltimore City, we speak down Lexington Market. You feel me? And down Lexington Market, it's a different world than if you go 10 minutes down the street to the inner home. You understand? We got up in Park Heights. You can literally walk across a crack in the road, you feel me? And it goes from so-called Jewtown to regular Park Heights, you feel me? And that little crack on the ground separates violence and a plush way of living. You understand? It's two different worlds right there. So when it comes to the term world means age of society. You got that Psalms 90 for? You get that, publisher?
Psalms 90 and 2. Before the mountains were brought forth, forever thou hast formed the earth and the world.
Forever thou hast formed the earth and the world, meaning the Most High formed the earth and he formed the world. Like the earth is this planet. You understand? The ground you're walking on. This, everything that's encompassed in it, that's the earth. You understand? The world is the different societies that's set up within this earth. You understand? So even with John 3:16 saying, for God so loved the world, God so loved the world, meaning God so loved a particular society. You feel me? He loved a particular society, and we're going to see what society that was. Keep going with John 3:16. Where it say, who started whosoever.
That whosoever believes in him should not perish.
That whosoever believes in him may not perish, you feel me? So that whosoever, does that mean the entire earth? No, it does not. You feel me? It was a conversation between two Israelites being taking place right now. You understand? So when it says, whosoever therefore shall inherit eternal life, now we got to find out who that whosoever is. You understand? Like who's being spoken of when it says whosoever? Is it talking about everybody in the earth? Or is it talking to a certain demographic of people? You feel me? Let me get Acts chapter 2 and 21. Start there. And I just wanted to break this down because I want everyone to see and understand that friendship with this world is enmity with God. We got to find out what world that we're friends with that's making us enemies to the Most High. You understand?
Acts 2 and 21. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Now it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Now, if you just stop right here, that makes it seem like the entire world, the entire earth, as long as they call on the name of the Lord, you feel me, they can be saved, right? But guess what? We got to keep reading. Keep going, Baba Kushar.
Acts 2 and 22. Ye men of Israel.
What?
Ye men of Israel.
Ye men of the world.
Israel.
Ye men of Israel. You understand? This was a conversation being had. This was a conversation about Israelites. You understand? That whosoever that's being spoken of in John 3:16, that whosoever being spoken of in James 4 and 4, that whosoever are ye men of Israel. You understand? If you're black, Hispanic, and Native American, you understand? You are that whosoever. That blood, that Crip, that BGF member, you understand? That MS-13 member, you understand? You are the whosoever. This is not pertaining to the oppressor and his minions and his accompaniment of nations, you understand? This is pertaining to Israelites, you understand? Now let's go back to James 4 and 4. We're gonna start that from the top. Let's get it.
Okay. James 4 and 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that friendship of the world is enmity with God?
Know ye not that friendship of the world is enmity with God? Right now, we're not in charge of this world. The wicked is in rule right now, you understand? So the wicked is in charge of this world right now, and we're friends with him. Now we become enemies to God, you understand? Keep going.
Whosoever.
Whosoever, meaning that same whosoever that's in Acts 2 and 21 and verse 22, that same whosoever that means Israelites, keep going.
Therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. You understand? To be friends, to have a friendship with this world is to be an enemy of God. Now, how do we, as Israelites, how did we become friends with this world? We just became friends with this world once again this past Thursday, Thanksgiving.
God.
Many of our brothers and sisters participated in the Thanksgiving celebration, commemorating the death, murder, slaughter, rape, and pillaging of our Native American, our North American Indian brothers. You understand? Like we brought out how a lot of people speak out against George Zimmerman, which they should. You understand? And all the wickedness that's going on with him. You know, actually suing the family of Trayvon Martin after he killed their son unjustly. You understand? We'll speak out against that. But then we'll go sit at the table and celebrate Thanksgiving and say, damn our Native American brothers, you understand, who died the same way Trayvon Martin died. You understand? Who died the same way Tamir Rice died. Who died the same way that Eric Gardner died, you feel me? Unjustly. You know, so being friends with this world and saying, yeah, we know what happened to the North American Indians, but guess what? We still gonna eat this turkey. We still want to celebrate Thanksgiving. The next one to come up is Christmas. You understand? Like, people can try to make these so-called holidays, something special and talk about the spirit of it and all that nonsense. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're being a friend to the world. You feel me? And you being a friend with this world, being a friend to this world makes you an enemy to God. Now, when you're enemy to God, the Most High, He's the supreme power. He's the Most High. That's why we call Him the Most High, because He is the high power. If you are an enemy to Him, what protection can you have? You don't have no protection. You understand? And this is why in a city such as Baltimore, we almost got 400 murders this calendar year. You understand? And every year, if Baltimore was only get 200 killers, they'll look at that and they'll celebrate over it. Because they'll say, well, goddamn, you feel me? It ain't 400 or 500, which is a shame. You see what I'm saying? And most of it is our people, Israelites, that's dying, that's being killed. You understand? This is a prime example of being an enemy to the Most High. This is a prime example of being friends with this world and an enemy to God. Because once we start pushing his heroin and his cocaine, and we start smoking his marijuana, you see what I'm saying? We start being, we start sleeping with each other's wives and stuff like that, and sisters start sleeping with each other's husband, knowing that they already got a husband. You understand? We start doing that is because we're friends with this world, and this world tells us we can do that. Being a homosexual, you see what I'm saying? Is being a friend to this world. Because this world that we're living in allows it, this society allows it, we feel like we can do anything under the sun because our oppressor says it's good. But being under the spell of this oppressor is now making us an enemy of God. You understand? And this is why we see the death at the rate that we see it in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. Not to mention the unclean. We eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You see what I'm saying? We eat clams and all this nonsense. The Most High don't want that for us. Then we wonder why we got hypertension. We wonder why we got diabetes. We wonder why we suffering from all these different ailments. You understand? We suffering for these ailments because we are now an enemy to the Most High. That hedge of protection is not over us. You feel me? But the thing is, that's why the Lord has set up His priests and prophets here in the Isupk, so that when we speak to our people, we're not speaking to our people to say, we better than you. You can't get on our level, nothing like that. None of that nonsense. You feel me? When we speak to our people, we speak to our people because we're trying to warn our people. Like when we warning our people and we talking sharp and we telling the people the truth about themselves, that's actually love. You understand? We love you so much that we're not gonna lie to you. We love you so much that we're gonna point out your flaws. You understand? So that therefore you can actually have a chance of correcting them. Like, how can you correct something that if you don't even know it's an issue? And that's why the Most High set up the Isupk under Commander General Yohana, which is such a beautiful thing because throughout all the things that we've done wrong, you feel me, the Most High has not forgotten us. The Most High said, I'm still going to send help your way, you understand? And this is what brothers and sisters are doing here in the Isupk, you see what I'm saying? We're coming back to the Most High. And instead of being an enemy to the Most High, we're trying to be friends with the Most High. We're trying to be children of the Most High once again, you understand? And that's the beauty of it. Let me get Jeremiah 2:13. That's the first step to actually fixing our communities. The first step to actually fixing our people, you feel me, is actually realizing that we actually got a problem. The scriptures say to gather yourselves together, you understand? We got to do that, you feel me? But we got to do it in righteousness, you understand? Like, Farrakhan, this is how you know that outside of the Isupk, there is no solution for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Farrakhan had 2 million man marches, you understand? He had 2 opportunities to have 1 million men, 1 million black men in one place at one time. And what did he do with it? Absolutely nothing. You understand? He did absolutely nothing with 1 million men hanging on to every word of his, you understand? But get rich. You understand? You give Commander General Yohana 1 million men, this earth would change overnight. You understand? Got that?
Jeremiah 2:13. For my people have committed 2 evils.
For my people have committed 2 evils, you understand? Like the Most High is saying that these 2 things my people have done, you understand? Now we're going to bring it out. Like the Most High is telling us how we've offended him. Now that he's telling us something, we got to make the decision to actually do it. But keep going.
They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters.
They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. You understand? Like this fountain of living waters. What is this fountain of living waters? What is the living waters that's being spoken of here?
Him and his laws, statutes, and commandments.
Having his laws, statutes, and commandments. Yeah. But it's one thing to have them, and it's another thing to do them. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Like we actually got to do what the Most High says. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of people who they know scripture, But just knowing it ain't good enough, you understand? You actually got to do something about it. Keep going.
Yes, sir. So, and hewed out them cisterns.
And hewed them out cisterns. Well, first of all, we're going to break it down. What does hewed mean?
It's like shaped them out, like made them, shaped them out.
It's like you shaping, you carving something out, you shaping it, you forming it, you understand? So we've carved and we've shaped them out, shaped ourselves out. Cistern, and what is a cistern?
A vessel for holding water or liquid.
A vessel for holding liquid, a vessel for, in particular, holding water.
Okay.
So here we go. It says that, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. That's the first one.
Okay.
So we've actually abandoned the truth. You understand? We've abandoned the law, statutes, and commandments. You feel me? We don't find the need to do them no more. We've forsaken the Most High, the fountain of living waters. The second one is we've hewed out cisterns, meaning we've shaped and we've carved and we've formed out cisterns. We've formed vessels that hold water. Keep going.
Broken cisterns.
Broken cisterns. So now we've carved ourselves out cisterns. We've carved ourselves out vessels. You understand? But they're broke. So what they were made to do, they can't do because they're already broke. Keep going.
That can hold no water.
That can hold no water. You understand?
Okay.
So let's look at this spiritually. You understand? Because this is what this is. When we hewed out them cisterns, these cisterns are religion.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
These cisterns are religion. We started forming religions. We started carving out for ourselves religions and different doctrines that was contrary to the word of God. You understand? You feel me? So if you read it from that standpoint, we started carving out religions, broken religions. You understand? That can hold no water. That same water that was the living waters, that living waters was the truth of the law, statutes, and commandments in doing them. You feel me?
Okay.
It said that these broken cisterns cannot hold no water. So these religions can hold no truth in them.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Because they were created by man and not the Most High. You understand?
Yes, sir.
These religions was something that we created, not something, because the Most High didn't give us religion. The Most High gave us culture. You understand? But instead of following what the Most High wanted from us, we actually did what we wanted to do. We started joining other religions. We started joining other nations, cleaving into them and serving their gods. You understand? Which goes hand in hand with James 4:4, where it says, "Ye adulterers and adulteresses." You understand?
Yes, sir.
Like this is where we hewed out cisterns in religions. You understand? This is where we became adulterers and adulteresses. And we started sinning against the Most High by serving false gods, you understand? By going into fake religions and learning from false apostles. You understand? This is where we started to go down that slippery slope of becoming friends with this world and enemies to the Most High. You had something, huh? Good.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do, sir.
Go ahead.
Not even just following others, but brothers be making up their own.
Brothers make up religions.
Yeah, like they got followers and all, like your boy that locked up Malachi York, Dr. York, locked up there under the jail, but he made up his own.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I say, we hewed them out cisterns.
That's what I'm talking about. That was the point.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's an example of actually creating and carving out
hewing out his own
religions, to get followings and stuff like that. You feel me? Like, and all this did was took us further and further away from serving the Most High. But what it did also, in addition to that, it made us very friendly to the world. You see what I'm saying? Because people think that when you don't want to serve the Most High, naturally you're going to go and serve the oppressor who's against the Most High. There is no in between. Like, you can't play the 50 here. You see what I'm saying? You can't play the fence. Either you're going to love one and hate the other. We're gonna get into that later as well. Drop that. Let me get Psalms chapter 37 and verse 1.
So, whenever you're ready.
Get that with you. Go ahead.
Psalms 37 and 1. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity.
Yeah, fret not thyself. Like, don't worry. Don't worry yourself because of evildoers. Don't envy these people, you understand? Workers of iniquity. Like, a lot of times when we get caught up in, we get caught up in following the limelight, you understand?
Okay.
We get caught up in following the glitter and the gold. We get caught up in following the wrong things, you understand? Like, and this is where we start to become friends to the world again. You know, because instead of serving the Most High, you know, the Most High is going to deal with you in a way like, first and foremost, you're going to have a beautiful life when you serve the Most High. Because you're serving the Most High. You're under a hedge of protection with the Most High.
Okay.
He's the giver and the taker of life, you understand?
Okay.
But in these other religions, whatever sin it is that you have, that you're not ready or you don't want to deal with, you don't have to deal with it in these places. Matter of fact, these sins can manifest themselves in you, you understand? And that sin now looks righteous in the sights of many. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times we get caught up in that. That's why we get caught up in the Christian church. We see these pastors with the big cars and the planes and the mega churches, you know, the $5,000 suits, $1,000 shoes and whatnot, you feel me? And it's like we get caught up in that. We start to envy those things, you feel me? We start to envy the oppressor in his ways. You feel me? But that's why the Most High said, fret not, like worry not thyself because of evildoers. These people are evildoers, you understand? They do not serve the Most High. Neither be envious against the workers of iniquity. Let me get verse 2, Brother Chuck.
Psalms 37 and 2. For they shall soon be cut down like grass.
But they shall soon be cut down like grass, and keep going.
And wither as the green herb.
And wither as the green herb, you understand? Like, don't get it twisted. Just because a person is shining right now, you know, just because a person is living their best life against the Most High right now, you feel me? Like, what life could they possibly live in that's so great when you're doing it against the Most High? But that's the saying. They live in their best life, you understand? They say, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Let's not become that. Like, we've been that for so long, you feel me? We've got to try something different now. You go to the Christian church, that's why you look at the Eddie Longs and those people of that nature, you understand? They live such lavish lives, you understand? They live a homosexual lifestyle where they rape and molest boys, you understand? And guess what? The Lord chops them down like the grass and withers them away as the green herb. You understand? Because in particular, this dude, what's his name? Eddie Long. He was a buff dude. When he died, he was shriveled up. They say he died of cancer. He died of that bug, you understand? Messing with them boys. And just as a sidebar, you feel me? That's the same church that Jamal Bryant left Baltimore for and went down the line and he inherited, the same church that Eddie Long was over, that's the same church that Jamal Bryant went to. Absolutely. So he's getting his off of Eddie Long's congregation right now. He can go down there and be with as many boys as he wants, you feel me? Because Atlanta is like a gay hub, you understand? So it's like, now it starts to make sense why our so-called leaders do certain things, you feel me? It ain't for the people. It's for their own gain. Keep going.
Psalms 37 and 3. Trust in the Lord and do good. so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed.
Like this is what the Most High is going to do for us. You understand? Most High will return us to greatness. You understand? But the thing is, we just got to hold on, man, and fight this fight. You understand? We got to learn to battle ourselves, our own carnal nature. You feel me? And we got to learn to battle this world. And the only way you're going to do that is here in the Isupk. You feel me? You got to get the right. You got to get proper counseling, and you got to be a part of this brotherhood. You understand? You know, it's brothers who get counseled, you know, for 3-4 hours a night. You understand? It would matter that it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you know, brother may have to get up at 5. No, it don't. He gonna sit on that phone with his brother. You see what I'm saying? You can't find that in the Christian church. You come here to the Isupk, and this is where you're gonna find and experience true brotherhood. You understand?
Okay,
Keep going.
37:4. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart.
And listen, all we got to do, we serve the Most High. The Most High knows. He knows the things that we need. He knows the things that we want. You understand? But the thing is, we gotta be diligent in serving the Most High. You understand? Like, don't be envious of someone who raped and robbed for their riches. You understand? Like the Most High is our. That's our heritage right there. Like that's our inheritance. You feel me? Like the things from the Most High, He'll give it to us. We don't have to rape, rob, and steal for it. You understand? Go ahead.
Sir, just real quick.
Go ahead.
He should give thee the desires of thine heart. It'll change. First of all, your desires will change from wanting to sleep with whores and
Absolutely.
cars and all that. But then the desires He'll give you. Once your desires change to something righteous, He'll give you that.
Absolutely.
By you serving and doing what He said, you will get all what you want, because what you want will change to what's righteous in His eyes.
That's a good point.
Then you got it.
That's a good point. You know,
It's
your
right
desires change
Yeah.
once you start to you truly start to serve the Most High. You feel me? You stop being a selfish bastard. You understand?
Right.
And you actually start desiring things that the Most High will want you to have.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And the Most High give it to you.
Right there.
You understand? But the thing is, you got to do your part. You understand? You got to do your part by serving the Most High, by coming back to this culture, by coming back to these laws, these statutes, and these commandments. Drop down to verse 9 for me, brother, sir.
Psalms 37:9. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that will wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth.
For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. You feel me? If you're an evildoer, you feel me? You're an enemy to the Lord. You understand? Like all this ties together because the Most High is saying, if you're an evildoer, you should be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. You feel me? Like those evildoers, they're the ones who want to do certain things against the they want to do certain things to inherit what the oppressor has. You understand? What these other nations have. God is taking too long for me. God ain't real. God ain't gonna crack this sky. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take everything in my own hands. I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it now. You understand?
Right.
And in return, they start doing the evil because if you're not serving the Most High, then you're serving the world. You feel me? And now you're enemy to the Lord. You feel me?
Right.
Let me get verse 10.
Psalm 37:10. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be.
For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Listen, times is coming. You see what I'm saying? Like we can see the earth changing right before us right now, you know? It say, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. The wicked ain't gonna be flourishing, but so much longer. You understand? Like they got a little bit of time. Thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Like you look at the place of the wicked right now. You feel me? You look at their status in this earth. You feel me? In a short while, it's not going to be that. In a little bit of time, it's not going to be that. You understand? Like we've been serving this oppressor, we've been serving these false leaders for too long now. You understand? Like how much more of ourselves do we gotta give and conditions stay the same? You understand?
Con.
Like what like how much more of an enemy do we gotta become to God till we realize like maybe we should stop doing what we're doing. Maybe we should stop smoking. Maybe we should stop getting high. Maybe we should stop being a homosexual. Maybe we should stop sleeping with our brother's wife. You understand? Like, how much more death do we need to experience to realize that we can't keep doing it this way? You understand? This is the scripture saying, "For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be." You feel me? Like the wicked only got a little while right now. You can feel it all in the earth. You know. Listen, a lot of people say it all the time. Like, man, you can feel that things is changing. You feel me? Things is changing. The kingdom of the Most High is upon us. You understand? He's building his nation and his army right now. So it comes to a point where we got to start doing something different. You feel me? Good, huh?
Yeah, I'm saying, sir. I forget what the scripture is. You were saying when we see all these things, all the wicked, all the wars, rumors of wars,
Right.
wickedness, and brothers going against brothers, nation against nation, then you should know that the kingdom is at hand. It's like once we see this, that's a sign.
And that's all we hear right now. Wars, rumors of wars. What they say, natural disasters happening in places that don't usually happen at.
Diverse places.
Yeah.
Diverse places. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we having earthquakes in Baltimore.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like what?
Yeah, right.
Hey, we have earthquakes in Baltimore. Who does that? You see what I'm saying? Like, how the scripture said, you ask the birds or you ask the fowl of the air, and they can tell you who the devil is. You understand?
Correct.
Birds ain't got no place to land. They're cutting all the trees down. You see what I'm saying? Then they talk about global warming. You understand? Like, it's getting close. If I could drop that, let me get Amos 5:21. But the beauty of it all is that the Most High gives you refuge. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, the Most High gives you refuge. You understand? Here in the Isupk is a safe haven for all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You feel? Like this is the place that you come to get yourself fixed and to learn how to truly serve the Most High. You understand? And for those that's watching, yeah, you may have celebrated Thanksgiving. You feel me? Maybe this is your first time hearing this. Christmas is right around the corner. Don't celebrate that day. You understand? The Lord actually hates it for you to celebrate these wicked holidays. You understand? But don't believe me. Listen, we're going to get into the scriptures. We're going to see that the Most High hate these days. The Most High hate these songs, these so-called, matter of fact, let's get that. Amos 5:21.
Amos 5:21. I hate.
Dude. But God is all love. God is all love. Read.
I despise your feast days.
I despise your feast days. So that means that the Lord, when he said your feast days, they ain't his feast days.
Right.
So that's the feast days of this world, you understand? So Thanksgiving, the Lord hates, the Lord despises. Christmas, the Lord hates, the Lord despises. Keep going.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
And I will not smell in your solemn assembly. So that turkey, that turkey and that pork ham that you cooked on Thanksgiving, you feel me? The Lord don't smell that nonsense. That macaroni and cheese and candy yams and stuff like that, that got prayed over for 45 minutes before everybody ate, you feel me? The Lord do not smell in them solemn assemblies. You understand? Keep going.
5:22. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them.
Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Question good.
Yes, sir. Is that like them praying over the food, like praying outside? He like hanging here.
That's like because like when they sending prayers into the air and they Lord, we thank you for this and all that nonsense. You feel? That's why I say they praying over the food for 45 minutes. Asking the Lord to bless this pork. Asking the Lord to bless this shrimp and crab and this pork and this lobster. You feel me? Like The Most High say, though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Yeah, I ain't trying to hear that. You know why? First and foremost, because it's unclean. And the Lord hates and despises the actual event that you're actually trying to glorify him in. Lord don't want no parts of that. That's just like a person trying to include you in something that you absolutely hate. You feel me? Like you say, you tell I don't celebrate birthdays. And that's a person still coming to you saying, well, happy birthday. I told you I don't celebrate that. Don't make me a part of that celebration, you understand? This is what the Most High is saying. Keep going.
Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Like, it means absolutely nothing to me. I won't give it a second thought. You understand? Keep going.
Amos 5:23. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs.
Take thou away from me the noise of thy song. Listen, all them Christmas carols and all that nonsense, you feel me? Like, listen, it's a spirit behind Christmas. It's a spirit that they push. You know, they start pushing Christmas in October now. You feel me? They start playing the songs and all this nonsense, and next thing you know, it's stuck in your head. You see what I'm saying? You catch yourself singing. You gotta battle against that spirit. You feel me? Because that's exactly what it is. It's a spirit that they're letting proliferate in this earth, in this environment. You understand? And that's why we gotta guard ourselves against it. But guess what? The Most High say, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs. So all them melodies and that so-called feel-good hate music that they listen to, the Lord wants no parts of it. Keep going.
For I will not hear the melody of thy viols.
For I will not hear the melody of thy vowels. You feel me? I'm not going to hear this music. You singing Silent Night to me to glorify me. I'm not hearing none of that. You understand?
Okay.
Like these holidays, these so-called holidays that's observed in this world, in this society. You feel me? Is absolutely against God. Now, a person can say, "Well, it's the spirit behind it." You know, that's the response that you always hear. You know, it's the spirit behind it. You know, people are more loving, people are more giving. Listen, people die. People die because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, like, we don't have money to just go out there and just be blowing money left and right. A brother may have just lost his job. You feel me? And his kid is expecting a Christmas present. And he ain't got no money, so can he come home and say, listen, I ain't got the money, I can't give you a present this year? You know what he's gonna do? He's going to rob and or kill to get this Christmas present. You feel me? This is the true spirit behind Christmas. This is the true spirit behind all of these holidays. You feel me? You know, the spirit of Christmas is so giving, it's so, BS. The Lord hates it. You understand? The spirit behind Christmas and Thanksgiving is of murder, is of rape and pillage. You understand? There's nothing glorious about these days. 24.
Amos 5:24. But let judgment rain down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness is a mighty stream. You feel me? Like let righteousness consume you. You understand? Like, separate yourself from these holidays. Separate yourself from this world. Meaning, like, should you not go to work? Yeah, you should absolutely go to work, but don't participate in the cultural things of this world. You understand? The Thanksgivings, the Christmas, the New Year's, and all that nonsense. You feel me? Like, separate yourself from that and let righteousness just run down on you. You understand? Like, this is what the Most High is saying. Don't be given into these wicked holidays and these seducing spirits, so to speak. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, I was saying, you got to endure the punishment, not punishment, like I said, the lashing you're going to get from your family, your friends. Oh, you ain't celebrating this. You ain't going to let that boy have his Christmas. You got to go through all that too. Just deal with it.
Again.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people, though that may be hard, What the brother brought out was heavy. You feel me? Like you may have to go through a lot of backlash from your family, saying like, "Oh, you think you brand new? You grew up celebrating these days? You know, you should let your kids have a childhood just like you had one, and all that nonsense." You feel me? Listen, don't be a friend to this world and make yourself an enemy to the Most High. You understand? That's why it goes right back to that. You feel me? When you hearing that you don't celebrate Christmas no more, you think you better than us? Who do you think you is? You understand? Realize that this is a test right now. Realize that you're being tried right now. You understand? Hold on to these scriptures. You understand? These oracles of the Most High, and say, you know what? I'm not going to celebrate. I'm going to have to pass. Let your family get mad at you. You know why? At the end of the day, you've allowed righteousness to run down and pour down on you. You say, you know what? I'm not going to be an enemy to the Most High no more. I'm actually going to be a friend to the Most High, and I'll be an enemy to this world. Yeah, it's brainwashing. It is a brainwash. That's why the scriptures say, you know, they should call good evil and evil good. You understand? That's what happens in this world. That's why the Most High said you can't be, you know, having friendship of this world is enmity with him. It's in opposition of him. You understand? Drop that. Let me get 2 Corinthians 6 and 17.
Can I write it down real quick?
Go ahead. Go ahead, read what you got.
Okay. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Wherefore come out from among them.
Wherefore come out from among them. You see what I'm saying? Like we gotta come out from among these heathen nations, you understand? Because this is where all the brainwashing occurs, you understand? We gotta come out of these cisterns, these broken religions. We've got to come out of these people, you understand? Come out of being a Christian, come out of being a so-called Muslim. You see what I'm saying? Come out of that. Keep going.
And be ye separate.
And be ye separate. You feel me? What's another word for separate?
Holy.
Holy. Be ye separate. Be ye holy. Keep going.
Saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
Yeah, do what the hell I say.
God.
You see what I'm saying?
God,
do what the hell I say, you feel me, and I'll receive you, you understand? Come out of these people, man. Come out of these broken religions. Come out of this world, this society, you feel me? Come back to your true culture, you feel me, and I'll receive you, you understand? This is what we gotta do. That's why we gotta come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, but in order to do it, we gotta actually be taught it, you feel me? This is the only place where we're going to be taught the law, statutes, and commandments, and held to a certain moral, we held to a higher standard, because it's not good enough for us just to know these things. It's not good enough for you just to get up here and teach and talk about it, you feel me? You actually got to do it. You understand? That's the standard that we got to live by as a nation. We're very moral people, you feel me? Like, we're the most humble people on the face of the earth, you feel me? Just not to each other. You know, when it comes to every other nation, we you know, we'll defend them, you know, tooth and nail, you feel me? But when it comes to each other, we've learned to hate each other, you feel me? Because we look at ourselves through the eyes of the oppressor. And that's why we got to come out of it. That's why we got to come out from among them and be separate, you feel me? Be holy. Thus saith the Lord, you feel me?
That's almost like the same thing as Zephaniah 2:1. Like
yeah, actually, where you go there. So let's Zephaniah 2:1.
Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together.
Gather yourselves together. You feel me? Like, this is what we got to do. Like, we too separate when it comes to actually doing what it takes to actually fix the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. Everybody got ideas and, everybody got opinions on certain things. Damn that. You see what I'm saying? How about we actually go back to the power that told us what to do? You feel me? How about we gather ourselves together first and foremost? Keep on.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired. Like we are a nation that's not desired. You feel me? Like we're only desired for free work. We're desired as slaves, but to be to be above other nations, not even to be above them, to be equal to other nations, we're not desired. You understand? That's why there's no equality in this earth. It never has been, never will be. You feel me? When we take this kingdom, you feel me? There is no equality in that. We are going to take it. You understand? When Christ come back, we'll have our shot at being who we're supposed to be in this earth, you feel me? Which is the top dog, you feel me? The top nation in this earth, you feel me? But the first thing we gotta do now is we gotta gather ourselves together. Because we are the nation that's not desired. No other nation desire us, but we gotta desire us, you feel me? Like we gotta desire each other. We gotta desire one another again, you feel me? Far too often we look at each other and we don't have respect for each other. We don't have the same love that we had for each other. You feel me? Because we started following other nations. We started following the oppressor. We started following the heathens. You understand? We started going to their religion, to their culture. You understand? And in contrary to what we thought that we was doing something that was drawing us to the Most High. And in all actuality, we was pushing ourselves away, you feel me, and becoming an enemy to him. Let me get Proverbs 3:31. It's on Antarctica here.
I ain't got I just cut it off.
It's on Canada, Miss Jones.
Yeah. That's why I ain't got no headache no more. Well, I ain't cut the air. I'm gonna just cut it off. But, I don't know why you still hear something.
Got that?
Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Envy thou not the oppressor. You see what I'm saying? Like, we envy people right now because we're slaves.
Okay.
Because we're slaves, we look at free. Like right now, our oppressor, he's free to do what he want, when he want, how he want. You understand? We envy those things because we don't have them. You understand? Like other nations don't envy our oppressor because they can do what they want. They got their own culture. They got their own rhythm. Well, they ain't got no rhythm, but they got their own, way of life, their own culture. You feel me? But we envy our oppressor because we don't have our own. You feel me? If we had our own, we would not envy him. That's why the scripture is saying, envy not thou oppressor. Keep going.
And choose none of his ways.
And choose none of his ways. You understand? Like we're to choose none of his ways. Like what is the way of the oppressor?
Homosexuality.
Being gay. Being gay is a way of the oppressor.
Eating whatever you want to eat.
Yeah, celebrating the holidays and eating unlawfully.
Drug selling.
Selling drugs, right.
Being a gangster.
That's not our culture. That's not our ways. That's the way of our oppressor. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why the Lord said, choose none of his ways. You feel me? Like, when we try to be hard, when we try to be gangsters in the street, like, don't get it twisted. You feel me? Like, the nation of Israel, we are a nation of soldiers. Don't get it twisted. You see what I'm saying? But we have a high morale, you understand? We have a high morale, whereas we actually give a damn about people, you feel me? But the conditions that we've been left in, you feel me, you don't really see that. You don't really see that because we're destroying people right now. But in our right state, you feel me, we're the most humble, down to earth, righteous and moral people that you could come across. You feel me? So when we out here trying to portray gangster and we going around killing and robbing and doing all this nonsense, is right now that's a way of the oppressor. We've envied the oppressor that so much that we've tried to become him. That's why all the rappers got names like Gotti and what else? Bugsy Siegel, all this nonsense, you feel me? Like we emulate Frank White, Frank Lucas. You see what I'm saying? Like we take on all these names, Scarface. We take on all these names because we've envied our oppressor, you feel me? And we chose his way, like black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man, you're not a gangster. You see what I'm saying? Them mobsters over there wearing suits, they the real gangsters, you understand? Like
what the scripture say we are humble, not what I don't say humble, what it say we in a wild man, we the humble man, something say about us. When they describe Jacob as being a peaceful man, but
right. I know what you're talking
dwell in tents, humble man.
Right.
Esau is a wild man.
Yeah, we simple. You see what I'm saying? Like we like peace, we like to chill, we like to kick back, relax. You see what I'm saying? Our oppressor is a wild man.
God's power, man.
He craves power. It's like he needs it. You see what I'm saying? Like
kick back, watch power.
Like we like to chill. That's why every time in the summertime, as soon as we see the sun and it gets above 70 degrees, you feel me? You go by any hood, you're gonna find 50 dudes on the porch chilling. Yeah, cooking out. You see what I'm saying? Like we just be chilling. You see what I'm saying? Like we real simple, We don't want no problems, you feel me? But at the same time, you feel me? If a problem arises, you feel me? We are soldiers. But our oppressor, that's not good enough for him. He gotta hunt, destroy, kill, rape, rob, murder. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we choose when we choose his ways. You understand? So when you see black, Hispanic, or Native American man killing people, murdering people, raping people, that's because he's envied the oppressor and he's chose their ways. You understand? Any more of that?
You could 32, but
no, drop that. Let me get Matthew 6:24. Yeah, it's so important that we understand who we are as a people, and we also gotta understand the oppressor and how he gets that. You feel me? Because far too often we blame each other for every single thing that's wrong with us. You feel me? But the problem is we gotta actually blame the person who got us in the situation. You feel me? And once we do that, then we can actually come together and join and start building with one another and have a little bit of compassion for each other. You feel me? Without that, all we're going to continuously do is envy this oppressor. You feel me? And we're going to choose him over the Most High and the Most High's people. You feel me? You got that?
Yes, sir. Real quick. Like you were saying earlier, when I first walked in, I heard you say Stockholm syndrome. And that's it.
That's exactly what it is. Matthew 6:24.
Yes, sir. Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters.
No man. And that goes for you women too. No man can serve two masters. You see what I'm saying? If you got two people and two separate influences, how can you serve them both when they're naturally pulling against each other? You feel me? Who do you serve? You understand? How can you serve both of them truly if they're in opposition towards each other? You feel me? Like how can you serve either or? Keep on.
For either he will hate the one.
For either he will hate the one, go ahead.
And love the other.
And love the other. Any more?
Yes, sir. Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. And that's what happens. Like what you see amongst our people, you feel me? Because we've chosen the oppressor's ways, because we've chosen to become friends with this world and enemies towards God. When our people hear the word of God, they hate it.
Right.
You understand? our people hate the word of God, you feel me? Because it goes in direct opposition to their master, who is our oppressor. Like the oppressor is continuously oppressing our people, you feel me? The Most High in His word is trying to give us freedom. So you have a slave who's being told you can be free by serving the Most High. And they say, you know what, I'm not dealing with that nonsense. I'm going to go back to being a slave, you understand? You know, because this oppressor got a suit and tie on, you feel me? He looks like he knows what he's talking about, you understand? This oppressor, you know, this is the master that feeds me. This is the master that clothes me, you understand? So in essence, when we serve our oppressor, you feel me? We love him and we hate the Most High, and that's what's happened to our people, you understand? And this is how we become enemies to the Most High. This is how we became friends with the world, you feel me? Friends with the oppressor of the world, you understand? And we created enmity or opposition with God, you understand? Any more on that?
Yes, sir. You cannot serve God and mammon.
You cannot serve God and mammon, or you cannot serve God and man, you feel me? There's absolutely no way you can. You know, like we were saying earlier about the Christmas, you know, when your family is saying to you, you know, you changed and, you know, why you gonna do your kids like that? You know, your kids ain't gonna celebrate Christmas. You know, it's like you torturing them. You feel me? Like when you start hearing that, just remember this scripture: you cannot serve God and man. You feel me? The Most High hates these days. You feel me? So by us actually celebrating and keeping these so-called holidays holy and celebrating them, we're actually becoming enemies to the God and to the Most High, and we're serving man. You understand? And this is what we can't do. We've done it for too long. Go ahead.
So that's saying like like our definition wise, it's like saying money, like man and his money. Like my mom means like man's money. It's like you serve like by serving Christmas and most of Christmas. That's like saying serving him and his life.
You serving Christmas, you serving the white man and your family as God.
No, that's what you serve.
Instead of the Most High.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down. You're serving the world. You feel me? And that's why I say, you know, who runs this world right now? I say the wicked are who. You understand? The oppressor is the one who's running this world. So when we do anything against the Most High, for, you know, however we want to dress it up and say it's for money, prestige, or power, however you want to dress it up, it all comes down to loving this and serving this oppressor. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what he wants. That's what he desires. That's what he chases. That's what he requires. You understand? So we start doing the things that he consider holy. You feel me? That's because we're serving him. No matter how we want to dress it up and make it seem. You understand? Because you got a lot of people. Listen, you got a lot of our people. They make money off of us, but when they're in their corporate worlds and so-called business, like, you know, they sitting at these expensive dinners with these oppressors, they not making the money. They doing that. They there for image and image alone. You feel me? To put something on social media. They not making no money. But
yeah, some people out here so simple-minded that they say, man, I don't believe in it, but I'm doing it for the kids. Yeah, you doing it for the kids as if your kids is God. You make your kids a God for that damn day. Especially if you know the Most High said not to do it.
And that's the thing, like, you know, again, that's another tool in which a person will make an excuse for, you feel me, to serving the oppressor, you feel me?
Right.
You know, like, here's the thing, you'll have a mother, you go to a Family Dollar or something like that, that mother cussing her sons out from the time they 2, calling them into everything in the book, you feel me? But now all of a sudden you got to do this for the kid. Now all of a sudden you got to celebrate Christmas for your kid. You see what I'm saying? Like, and this is the spirit of this world, you feel me? And this is why we got to battle it, you feel me? We can't become friends with it, because once we do, We make ourselves an enemy towards God, and what you get the city of Baltimore. You get 400 deaths. You understand? We don't get that hedge of protection. You feel me? You know, and that goes for any black community, any black city across this earth. You see what I'm saying? Any barrio, any reservation, that it goes for all of our people. You feel me? Like we can't run from this punishment. That's why I say, "Cursed shall you be in the city, cursed shall you be in the field." You understand? It don't matter if we go far out and we live in the county and we live in the suburbs and we live around the oppressor. You see what I'm saying? Like this punishment, you can't run from. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like you can't escape God's punishment. If you're an enemy to the Lord, you cannot run, you cannot hide. You feel me? And that not only goes for our people, but that goes for the oppressor as well. Because there's a day coming when the Most High is going to send Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You understand? And our oppressor will pay for what he's done to our people. You understand? You know, we so adapt to receiving punishments that we take that and we don't join no other nation with us when it comes to being punished. You feel me? Like when we speak about everybody else, you feel me? It's like you gotta speak about them on an individual basis. But when you talk about black people, we're all included together, you understand? Because when it comes to us and our punishments, we understand that we gotta take this as a nation. But we'll take the punishments and don't join these other nations to us. But when it comes to the blessings, we try to bring everybody with us, you feel me? Like if it wasn't for the Most High raising up the my Commander General Yohana and this Isupk, you feel me? All of our blessings, we would give it right away. You understand? And shit, own a store, own a business, run the world. Are you serious? Man, I ain't even trying to do all that, you feel? I'm just trying, you feel me? Like give me my 9 to 5, you feel me? Like, you know, give me my food stamps and I'm good, you feel me? Like that's the attitude we have. You see what I'm saying? Like we have an attitude where is that we give away all our blessings. And we'll give it to every other nation and join them to us, you feel me? But when it comes to these curses and these punishments, you feel me? We'll take this all alone, you know, but there's a day coming, you feel me? Like the scripture say, you feel me, the wicked, you feel me, their day is drawing short. And we're gonna see this more often where it's gonna start getting drawn out now, you feel me? So that's why this biblical law class is so important because it teaches us what we should be doing. You know, it teaches us who we should be with. It teaches us who we should eat with, who we should have sex with. It teaches us who we should be friends with, you understand? And who we should not. You understand? Like, this is why this class is so important. But with that, I want to say we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. Like I said, we are not, I repeat, we are not affiliated with any other Israelite Israelite groups out here. We're not affiliated with the Christian Church. We're not affiliated with the Muslims, any Muslim mosque. We're not affiliated with any of these different organizations. We stand alone. And that's such a beautiful statement because when you hear about other Israelite groups doing wickedness out here, you understand that the Most High is not with them and that the Most High is with the Isupk. You understand? And with that, I want to say shalom, and I'm going to bring the priest and prophet of 1,000, the Bar Rakar, for the reading of the security announcements.
Security announcements. We are the Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. after 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After that 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi 3 and 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew. And it's pronounced Ma'asher. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy conversations. Remind Aqua check the social media such as Isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Holy Convocations, Hanukkah, December the 20th. Passover, April 9th. Check YouTube and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, man of Israel. Mali Shabbat, Mali Rock.
Y'all buy ship, y'all Shabbat Shabbat.
Y'all go see your Shabbat.
Go.
That's the time. Class dismissed.
Oh no, I didn't mean then, sir. I meant